here.
Thing.
Floop.
I do believe we are live.
What up, lively bunch? Here we be, form checking the peeps. Magnus Ridezo and 2 Chiefs. Just comes to me sometimes. I dropped like a little too much stevia in this. We've got the super concentrated stuff. So it's like, you want like just the tiniest bit. And instead of like toothpicking it out or something, I like tap the little container that it's in. And it's extra full, so it like went.
So that's the monk fruit stuff I use.
Yeah.
Right? Like so concentrated, more than a couple of drops, and you're basically drinking straight from the fruit.
Yeah. Directly from the vine of the monks.
The monk vine.
As always, what it do? Let us know if you're here, and we'll get you in the list. Mikey's got a list thing, a queue.
Oh, that's right. I can create that message again.
Queue. Q. We could have made it one letter. Absolutely not.
Current, just not had a second version of Q in the same language.
Right. Or we could have just kept it CUE.
Yeah.
Nope. Who needs context? I don't know. Are you talking about a line or a pool stick? I'm really confused right now. You're not giving me enough here. Morning.
Ready when they are. Come on now. Colombia.
Greetings. Colombia. You jump in the queue by Mikey's got it. Just a few comments above yours. If you have a Discord name.
Well, let's yeah.
I don't have form to review, but do you have a drill to practice follow through rotation on heel or toes? Had knee surgery? Just stop. That's more of a brace thing. I don't think you intentionally practice rotating on the toes or rotating on the heel. It's if you brace properly, you're most likely going to rotate on the heel. Most likely. But that's not a blanket statement, because Paul, it's like on the side of his foot. Calvin's like on the side of his foot. It's very, there's some things that can change that. I'm probably going to play around after this. Well, I'm going to eat after this, and then I'm going to play around.
Mm-hmm.
Ripper Magoo, I got you. You don't even make it to the queue.
Dang.
Ripper Magoo.
You for you.
Ripper McGee, not making it to the queue, dressed like a goose.
Mikey, hold off on that. Yep.
Mikey, hold off on that. Doesn't work. What you got?
I feel the goal. It got unplugged from like the base lamp.
All right, any context you want to give me, Ripper? Old Rocco. Oh, boom, he was already on it. I've been trying to work on the over rotations, but it's tough. Yeah. You're doing pretty decent, actually. This is where you can kind of work on one thing for a little bit, and then you have to fix other things because your body's all connected, right? So the over rotation of the shoulders, that's something you can for sure work on. But if we look at your brace here, like you're doing it basically. I say basically. If we were in a lesson and I saw this, I'd say, okay, time to move on to a more sturdy brace and then come back to that a bit later. So the reason why that is because this brace, this stop right here, allows you to start pathing stuff more through. But if this brace starts coming around, for example, so let me exaggerate, if it goes all the way around like this, well then my hands automatically, without me doing anything, want to come around more, right? So this is actually a brace thing to clean it up from here on out, I think. And then you can revisit. So when you set this plant here, you need to have this solid enough that you don't start leaking this like knee forward, and you don't start just like twisting right off here. So this needs to be more like you set your hips in place here basically, or this is the way that I think about it. Where like the goal of my walk up is to go, okay, boom, I'm gonna put my hips there and then I'm gonna leave them there. Here. And so now I can throw from here and my hips stay here instead of opening up so easily. You try to plant it and keep it there. And that's just a mindset deal that you need to grow more towards.
Try not to go too far down the keypad.
Okay, you're gonna give me a mock?
Where'd it go?
I don't know. I was assuming you knew.
I put there in the back of my car.
We can use a disc. I don't know which scene you guys are seeing right now. But yeah, from here it needs to be plant and stay here. Right, and this is why I was saying earlier, people usually, if you do it correctly, rotate on their heel. Because it's extending this front leg to keep you back behind this brace. So, is that trying to get the front knee straight? Doesn't need to be straight. You just need to stop, right? And so this is kind of like, we're basically like stiff arming almost, right? So in order to shove someone's face away from your, body, your arm doesn't have to be locked out straight, right? You just need to be resisting really well. So lots of people do get straight with that front leg as they try to resist and not go forward, but it's not necessary. Right. So, but what will happen is you will be pushing off the ground to stay back here. So, just a little more of a stop here. And the best cue for me personally, mentally, is if I try to just plant my hips there. And then when they'll open up on their own. But my goal is to actually not let them open up. It's here, and then they'll come around on their own. So part of that resisting is the leg straightening. Let me make sure I answered that right. If I'm trying to make sure I don't spill past this cone that you guys may or may not see, this move of resisting the ground, of pushing back, is going to straighten the leg. Right? So we do that just to a lesser extent with the brace. We don't push back, obviously, so much that we, you know, jump backwards, but it's the same stop and throw. Last thing I'm going to do here is I'll just by comparison, the world's like potentially best brace here. You see how he's not trying to have that left hip just swing around so quickly. Right, and then it can come around. So that front leg's not twisting until really late. Right, whereas we can see your knee go from here around. And the hips are twisting right away. So don't twist the hips forward. Set them in place. And they will open up. If by some miracle you cannot have them open up naturally despite your best efforts, then of course they need to open. Don't worry so much about vertical versus lateral. That was more for me to distinguish like how other coaches are teaching it, like how you might be hearing it elsewhere. The brace is a stop. It stops all of your forward momentum. So that's the thing. Hey, there are more here.
Yeah. Some guys didn't give me access to their files until just now.
I hate that when it's like if you had a checklist. Imagine you had a checklist at home and like you just crossed something off and then you go back and the list got longer. How unsatisfying is that? Okay, current cue, Steezy. Where is Steezy? I don't see Steezy. He's in the queue, but he's not here.
Wait up.
Cam off. Is this the actual queue?
Can't take him off. Give me a second. It might be my bad. And I don't want him to get punished if I can fix it real quick. I'll let you know.
Snap.
It was not my bad. You're good to go to the next.
Okay.
He added it like 5 minutes ago.
Snap, audible snap is not indicative of good form. There's lots of guys where you don't hear anything out of the hand. What you do hear with guys who throw really fast is that's what you hear. It's like, dang. It's a jet plane going off. All right, we're back to the forehand. Give me the... Okay. Cam. Your forehand annoys me just as much as it annoys you. I feel like I want it to be good just as much as you want it to be good. For those of you who don't know, Cam and I are, more close than most of my patron. He's on a phone number basis with me. thing to pick on first? The Patreon slow-mo. Hui. Why is it sweeping? Because that hip's just staying back there. We should have worked on this when we saw each other in person. Okay, I think you need to practice like literally just stepping. Just going here and like forcing this to come around. Because right now it's just locked back here. And then work it back to like, okay, it's not going with the throw, but you're letting it, the hip go, and then this come after. Because keeping the hip back here is not the way. You're just so locked up in the hips. So what should happen is this hip, when you press, this hip should be kicking back this way. So the left hip should be kicking back, driving the right hip forward. Like so. But yours sticks there, doesn't go back, doesn't kick the right forward, and this is something we've been looking at for a while. So I'm just trying to think, what would I do in person? I would force you to step around with your right and at least get it moving, at least get on the other side of the spectrum and then work back. And get your left to stay. And then try to get it to not just walk forward, right? But walking forward would be a new thing for you. So, yeah, it's like actually spill over past your brace first. And just go like that. And then learn to brace and have the hip move. And then the other thing is, like, probably this arm slot for what you're throwing is not that helpful. Like having this kind of scoop action might hinder a bit, but that's secondary, I think. You got to get that right hip going, moving forward. And just step around with it. Just straight up go around with it first. I mean, you can test the left backhand, of course. Like, if you got lefty backhand just sitting there with 400 feet of power, you might as well test it. Yeah, we used to do this thing in tennis where we'd have people, we would have people like come around with their backhand, like, and you'd force them to step because they'd just be like locked up. I don't know, maybe Mike never had that. I said we, as in like collective tennis, or like the only other we there could have been would have been me and Mikey. I was just speaking for this we, apparently. Yeah, it's like there's a point where you can be like, you can stop everything from moving, right? You stop your, oh, I'm gonna stop my left foot. I'm not gonna collapse into that leg, but you just like brick everything up, which obviously is not the way. Phil, don't see Phil.
I think it's not just Phil. I think it's got Phil in the name, but it sounded familiar to me when he.
Phil Millier. No, I don't see Phil.
All right.
All right. Yeah, it seems like you can stop. You just need to bring in more momentum. Just bring in so much.
It's ex-dad 69.
Okay. Well, he got jumped by Tom.
That's fair. What do you mean he got jumped? He put it in first and then figured out what the name was.
I'm already tracking Tom, though. I'm already here.
All right.
Common misses, right or low. I was gonna say, what is the problem here? Right or low? That's a combo. Win right and win low. When do those two happen? Right. Generally, low is the case. Tell me when the right misses happen. But yes, with your putting style, low will be under committed. Right. The thing that you have going on with your putt that can tend to be a right miss is if your wrist is like really snappy, right? It's kind of hard to hit that. Now you can add the wrist. Yeah. Put it here maybe. So the more you want to get some distance, right, the more you can add like wrist or maybe like the elbow lever. But it is bringing in just intrinsically more left and right, especially with your putt style where you have this move here, right, where it's a nice forward move of the wrist. So you can always calm down and create a like more of a unit here between the wrist and the forearm, and then kind of stiffen up the wrist there, or you can do what like Eagle talks about a little bit, which is just making sure like if you snap the wrist, like only snap it to straight basically. Don't snap it to open like you see in the picture here. You've got it like a little bit past there. So if you snap it here, you're gonna tug it more if you like go past open. I didn't go past open there. I just went totally straight. Come on, miss it, dude. Yeah, there we go. Wow, still made it. Glorious. Right, but if the wrist flies past open, then you're kind of in trouble. So when you line up straight and you focus on your straight hit, either neutralize the wrist and create more of a unit between the like hand and the forearm, or you have to time and pop it just straight, like every time basically. But there are times when you want to putt like further. Obviously, you're going to have to use more leverage, right? If you're going to try to putt harder. So, just for the closer stuff, maybe consider the more of the locked wrist. And if you're going like real far, then sure you can, really pop it. So, questions, Tom? What's the first thing to change for bigger distances? You just put the hand back behind everything else. Right, so you can create more of like a push by going here, and you see how the disc is in front of all my other joints basically, or it's in line with the wrist. Versus if I want a little more distance, I can drop the disc back behind the wrist and then leave the other joints the same basically. Right, and then if I want to go a step further, I can drop the disc behind the wrist behind the elbow. Oh, I screwed up. Mike, you don't listen. Oh, perfect. You're on track. You just have to make sure that you like repeat the same wrist movement every time, and I would suggest neutral instead of open. But you're for sure on track. Yeah, it's a nice motion. Okay, now we're going back to Dad X Dad. Father X Father. Dad X Dad. So, what's this guy's name? Phil. I would work on your making sure that you brace before. So here's where your foot comes down, and you've already like moved the disc forward a good bit here. Right, so before you start moving your arm forward, you should be planted. So right here, you start moving your arm, you gotta wait and plant first, and then throw. So for that, I would work drill kind of like this. That foot should be totally touching the ground before the pull starts. So, and here's how you can practice that. Here, foot all the way on ground, still back. Then throw. Okay, nice long pause in between. Then go. Shorten the pause. Shorten the pause again. So work from big pause and make sure that you get the feeling of I'm planted and then I'm swinging. Shorten the pause until the timing's correct. How is Simon Lazat able to not lock out his elbow in the follow through? He goes here and he hits without it being locked, and then it does lock in the follow through. It's at the hit that it's not locked. You're not going and popping your arm straight into the hit. Where's Phil? Yes, we're to 3 rows at last. What? Oh, they were added to the top of the thing. Snow. Okay, here we go. Snow guy. Sawyer said he's just here until him and I throw 500. Different Phil. Okay, 2 things. So I don't think you need to change your reach back height. You need to bend at the waist. We need to get you in a coil position that looks more like this. Here, where the shoulders are turned back, you can see that my back is to the target, and you can see some of like my right shoulder blade, for example, instead of here. Right, a higher reach back here, all you're going to do is if your arm doesn't move, you're still going to collapse your pocket. Right, so the way to not collapse the pocket is to have the space and then coil. Now the pocket's not collapsed. From here, then you need to make sure that when you start moving forward, You don't jelly arm this sucker up against your chest. So, two things. You need to coil your shoulders back. Get a little bend in the waist here. Coil the shoulders back. And now you're going to have a naturally lower reach back than what you're trying to do here. But what you're trying to do here is manufacture these other things that I'm talking about. Instead, here, now you're going to have a nice on plane swing. Nice reach back that's not going to cause you to scuff up your nose angle and things like that. So turning back here, bent at the waist, here. And now you can move forward with the disc. Another way to feel this. Sorry, line. Here, get your posture, reach across the body, door frame, let it pull your weight. There you go. Nice coil. And then move forward from there. That be it. It's going to help some other things too. A good cue is bend at the hips. No, you need to bend at the hips first, and then you've got to turn the back towards the target when you coil. But you've got to work on you need a bend at the hips so you can have good, strong posture instead of being so upright. What do you think is the actual distance you need for course management? Depends on the course. It's pretty nice if you have 500 at New London, because then you get to throw 400-foot controlled mid-range or fairway drivers or whatever. So, depends on the course you're trying to manage. Get as much on-course distance as you can get, and it makes course management easier. Okay. Steezy. Steezy. He's a springy boy. Nice. Oh, there went the earbud. Dang, bro. Trying to look like David Wiggins out here.
I thought that was David Wiggins.
Look at it. Shoom.
Yeah.
He's like Wiggins and Garrett Gurthie. This is gonna be, I mean, let me see. Let me just play it, because I think it's, oh, okay, I was gonna say, is it full speed? Right. I mean, at this level of form, here's what you get to work on. A better brace, a more solid brace, and moving your arm faster. I mean, how far are you throwing? It's got to be hucking it, right? Let me see this. I almost wish I could see it in real speed. Right, you're definitely blowing past the brace a bit, right? The form pieces you have, it's like in terms of, okay, this looks correct, right? But here's how far he is behind his foot. At this point, still centered, right? But you've got just a bit more drift. See how your head keeps going? Here. Right, so you just don't contain the body quite well enough. So his is, I'm staying, I'm staying, I'm staying. Right, so he stays behind that plant foot as long as he can. Right, so you've got to work on striding a little bit further, get that foot out a little bit more in front of you so you can stay behind it a little better, then start chalking on some speed. Yeah, you get the fun part now, which is brace hard, throw hard, you know, or if we want to be technically accurate, throw fast, right? Dang, that's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, you put all the form work in first. Now, not to make you feel bad, Ben, but that argument online where people are like, and I don't understand why disc golf is this way, but it's like, is throwing far form or is it speed? And everybody's like, form, it's form. It's like, well, your form is pretty darn good. And 400 is, you know, we were talking about this on the server, it's like probably top 5% of disc golf, but it's not like far. With that form, you should be, if form was speed or form was distance, you'd be 550. But yeah, harder brace, faster throw. Stick that foot out way in front of you. Yep. Magnus. Magnus Carlsen. Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast. Gotta go faster, 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 faster. All right. So right now you've got both arms going forward. So your throw looks basically like this. Forward with both arms. You need to turn the throw into this. A one arm swing. Like this. And this is how you practice, I think. You start just here. Just take the left hand. Tag it with your left side. And just learn to swing the right arm. Right, like this. Just the right arm. This very quiet left side. Just paying attention to, am I pushing this left shoulder forward? Or is the left side staying here? Now it could be the left hip flying forward, it could be the left hand flying forward, it could be the left shoulder, it could be lots of things. That's why I'm saying left side. You'll kind of have to tune in and see like, okay, if you're pushing forward, what is it? What's causing that? But first, here, just the right side go. And so we get right swing, and then the left can come after. Instead of one two-handed swing, instead of going both hands at once, it's two one-handed swings. So we go right swing, and then once the right swing finishes, it whips the left side around. Kind of, in my mind, it's kind of like Newton's cradle, you know, that little thing where it's got the marbles and you go clack, 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 right? That's what the feel is. It's swing and then swing. Right, so then you can start letting the left side come around afterwards, but you've got to make sure that it's not the left side going with it the whole time. I have disappeared. Choo. You guys cool if I turn this heat down or something?
Yeah. It was just really cold this morning. It was 45.
Yeah.
Early birds.
Current queue. There's only one left in the queue.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're here, you gotta hop in this queue. I don't even know where I got this cut from. Oh. Maybe I did. Hiking, I think. All right. Let's see it. Whoop, pew. Let us try again. Whoop, pew. This is kind of similar, except your left side is like really active. If you just track the glove hand, and then it swings really forward and makes you kind of collapse your space there. What if he was like, no, it's me back here? There's so many of you guys. I can do 3 form reviews in one right now. Yeah, so this is kind of similar practically to the last form review, but I would actually quiet your left hand. Like you have your right hand very still the whole time, and this is like swinging around. It's like here, here, and then it goes. Instead, quiet this one down to be more. Like you're probably going to really have to quiet it down so that you can get to this point here where it's still, because you're just pulling it from back here. Whip, whip. Right, so instead of that, keep it calm. Some people put it in their pockets for this. I'm not sure that I like restricting it like that, but maybe could work for you. Right, but kind of here. There's actually someone I could show you practically. I'll do that afterwards. Right, but if you're continuing to walk up, try to keep it like your left hand almost attached to your left hip. And learn to just hang it around there, right? And then do the same drill that I was showing the last guy so that you can learn where you're headed with this thing, right? Just here, everything's still. The idea is still left side. Sometimes I show it like this. I'll give you another just visual here. Like the left side is at the throw. Very still like this. So if you look at the weight. Right, just, whoa, that went straight to my coffee. But good thing that little leg stopped it. But yeah, very still left side swing like this. Sometimes have people just grab something like this, nice and long. Right, so the thing about Drew is when his left hand shoots in like this, it doesn't push the left shoulder forward. So the left hand comes in like this, the elbow stays tight, and the left shoulder doesn't go forward like this. He's not pushing the shoulders forward. right here. See that? He's not taking away space from the disc by pushing that left shoulder forward. Versus here, your left hand goes forward and it pushes your shoulders together. More like this. So now you've got this shoulder push here. Whereas he's got space. Yeah. Let's see what I can show you guys with that. Hey, yeah. This. So just look at her left arm here. So I might suggest going to something like this for the time being. See how calm it is?
We're disconnected. All right, reconnection, back up. Just a quick hit. So they may not have gotten that last part.
Okay. And we're back. What's up? So, lost you right after Tatar. I was just saying do that. Try that. You don't want a big fancy left arm move, I don't think. Yeah, see how calm that left arm is. Do that. It's on our Instagram. For this particular case, I would stop doing things that are like flailing the left arm, and I would just calm it down first. And then you can, okay, maybe I don't get as much coil because it's too calm and I need that back shoulder to move a little bit so I can get the disc further back. Then you start adding it in. But it's safer to go calm with it than crazy with it and try to utilize those moves. So, yeah, if someone gave me a Porsche, I might. But that's for her to, either way, Porsche getting into the sport in any capacity, even if it's just a vehicle for her to drive around when she's in Estonia, is massive. The Europeans, they do it right because they've got like Nike Europe and all that sponsoring stuff as well. Yep. Okay. We don't have a cue right now. Is that right?
No cue.
Okay. Start running through them in order then. It's Boo Bad.
It's
Once again.
It's Footwork.
No, all the Europeans have like the Nike sponsors too, right? At least the Estonians basically all have them. She just gets them and she brings them into everybody else. It's like, yeah, okay, you're gonna sponsor me. You have to sponsor Gate and Silver and all these other people too. Probably doesn't work like that, but it would be cool if they were like, we have to sponsor you. She's like, but you have to sponsor my friends also. It's the new anime. Nike Nakama. Okay, what are we looking at here? Okay. So here the left arm is hindering in a different way. Or I should maybe not so different. but kind of. So you want the left arm tight to the body. Tight to the body. Tight to the... I was trying to say it like some of my Estonian students. So you see when the right arm is tucked, the left is still quite wide. It needs to get tight to the body when the right is tight to the body. So it's basically your left hand is here and it's just wide kind of the whole time. Kind of draggy, right? It's forcing you to spin around a little bit. That would be funny. So from back here, the move is in. Get it tight. Get the elbow tight to the body, right? And from here, it's going to hang out and stay. So instead of here, it'd be like if you had that kettlebell behind you and you went like this, what you're currently doing is here, and you're trying to throw here, right? So you're like here, and then swinging it around. Right, instead of taking the kettlebell and just going, okay, let's go back, boom, tight, and just leave it there. So it's pretty simple practice, but it's here. Well, you've got both arms here, right? So here, in, and it's almost like your left and your right do the same forward move. It's just your body's in the way of your left, and so your left stops about halfway, right? If your left was in front, it would just go.
Internet drop.
Nice. That's perfect timing. Buffering. Buffering.
This is weird. I think we're back. Yeah, we're back. I don't know why I hit a couple hits today. Just a couple, but.
Oh. So here, and it'd be like if it was just going to keep going through, but instead of that, it just kind of catches your body, right? That's what the timing kind of feels like is. They're both moving forward. They're both swinging forward. This one just runs in to the body first, right? So. How many hits has that projector taken? None to my knowledge, said the liar. Don't we have like an NDA or something that says that we can't say how much we hit it? I'm pretty sure we're under contract or something. Yeah, in my mind it is very Felberg. Yeah, I do like Felberg's form for that, where it's like, oh, okay. That's like a very rigid version of it. Okay, next is two chiefs.
Two chiefs!
One mountain. Not space. Whoa, airborne. You see that? This is actually a great example of what happens in the brace. Like you actually push up, and I tell people sometimes it's almost like you're gonna jump off of that front foot, and that's why your foot can pivot. It's because you de-weight it. This is actually like the perfect example of that feeling. Woo! And that's why it's safe to twist your foot. But if you're not pushing up, your like foot just stays there and you just twist your knee and it breaks in half. Or quarters maybe. So initially there's a lot of weight going down on this foot, right? Right, boom. Right, there's gotta be. And when you jump, like he's putting a bunch of pressure on the ground here to jump. If you jumped off of a scale, it would read pretty heavy, right? And then weightless. So we're almost weightless when that foot pivots because we put that pressure down there. So usually people don't do it because they don't put enough initial pressure. Like they don't jump basically, and so they never get weightless. They just like fall onto the foot. Anyways, that was a really cool thing to see. Okay, let's go to some earlier pieces of the form here. So a couple things. I think how backwards you are here is not helping you. Like it's not beneficial for you to be this far back. Because now you've got this big stagger here. Your momentum's not going towards the target. It's here and it's put the disc behind your body. Just because you walked this way, right? If the disc stays kind of where it's at and you walk this way, well, it's going to be behind you. So first thing I would address is kind of these initial walk-up pieces here. No need to step across this way towards us, right, and turn back there. I'd save the turning back for a little bit later. Right, and then you won't have the disc so far behind your body. Like there's no point really in talking about, okay, get the disc through, get all these things, because it literally can't because of setup. Right. And this whip around, your body is set up to throw like this way, right? So when we see this left foot whip around all the way, whoosh, aggressively like that, it's because your body had to do that in order to get it around at all. Right, so let me think, what angle is best here? So you are walking basically this way. You take your first step and it's here and starts angling you to now my side on walk up should be over here. Right, and you're the target. Right, so instead of that, the first step should be targetward. And this foot can come across that line a little bit, right? But it shouldn't be here, and now here, and then here, right? Because now I break my line. I've actually got a line. We actually bought teaching aids. Unbelievable, right? And I'm just going to not use them for some reason. Woo! Hey, I need a line so that I don't use it. Here. That's pretty good, right, Mikey? All right. That should be fairly straight for you guys. Here, I'll walk this way. Waka, 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 waka. Right, so I want my steps to go this direction. So your steps are going this way right now, which, of course, if I'm here, I'm going to have to spin to get back around. And if this foot wants to not finish here, it's going to have to, really, I'm going to have to force it around to get it forward, which is what you're doing, right? So instead, let's walk with our momentum down the line. So I'm going to take my first left step forward, and now here, again, stepping towards the line. Here's the cross step. It can turn a little bit here. I can turn away. It doesn't have to be totally perpendicular to this line. It can be back a little bit. Right, and now my coil, and I can keep this disc out, away from the body a bit. Back here, the more this way you get, the tougher it's going to be to create this space with where you're throwing, right? So it's going to be somewhere probably on this side of the line for most people. Unless you're super flexible, super bent over, then you can go here and get away with it. Right, so instead, here. And now we can work on the other mechanics at that point. Right, so I'd get the orientation of your walk up correct. Woo! And whoop. I want to know what love is. All right, next is Alex Van L. Alex Van L. All the way from Shrevengard. I want you to show me. I want to know what love is. To what first? What do we want to look at first? Okay, so I would recommend first setting up from more of a standstill or a one leg, so that we don't have walk-up issues hindering this part of the process. So you want to learn to coil and create space back here. Right? Create space back here instead of what it looks like back here, which is here for you. It's very high, kind of pinched off already, and then you get stuck here. So instead, coil with good space, more than 90 back here for sure, and then you have to work on not collapsing that space, right? So ways to practice that is you can go here, you can actually straight arm this and start at the space with 90 or a little bit more than 90 even, and that will get you a coil position with space in the backswing. Right? And then from there, don't let your arm move into your body. So you're going to have to maintain the space with your upper arm, right? So you're gonna have to maintain the space up here. If you leave all this just absolute jelly, then you're gonna lose it. So here, there's your coil. There you've learned to create space by turning the shoulders. And then you can throw from there. Right? Yes, very twirly bird. And then you can start working. I accidentally let my arm bend a little bit there. I didn't think about it enough. Right, then you can start working, letting the arm bend a bit. Right, and so you can maintain the space up here and let this joint move down here. Right, so I'll go backswing and then I'll let a bend happen. Yep. What up, Nick? Can you not share my screen for a second, Mikey? I need to check on something.
Give me a sec. Yep. You know when to come back.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Are you able to look at my calendar?
Yeah.
Okay, so look at my calendar on the 21st
Okay.
at 10 a.m.
Like tomorrow.
Is that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yes, tomorrow.
Yeah, 10 a.m. you got
Yeah, I'm speaking in code, in riddles.
Okay.
So now look at the on form.
Huh. I don't know if that's the same guy. You think it is?
It is. It's exactly the same user, so they must have upped afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, so they probably just...
Yeah. Should I just remove him?
Yeah, I'm just going to remove them, but if you want to check on the back end, just the tier.
Yeah. But they scheduled with you.
Right. So I'm guessing what happened was originally they were $15 tier, and then they upped their tier wanting a lesson instead.
Yeah.
So.
Or maybe they just didn't know they couldn't do both. Oh, I got it. They couldn't. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They
had access to both.
They had access to both at one point.
Yeah.
Or when they submitted. Nothing wrong. This person, I'm not accusing them of doing it. Yeah, screen back is good. Yeah, I had to look up the super secret distance tips that I'm keeping from everyone. David Wiggins told me himself, this is exactly what I practiced every day for 3 years. I'll give the secrets to you if you want. 100 squats.
Who's this?
100 push-ups. 10-kilometer run. And most importantly, no air conditioning.
What's the username of this guy?
Nick V23. Nicky V23. If you do that for 3 years, you do that workout plan for 3 years, you'll be a world distance champion, probably. Yeah, kind of similar deal here to the last one. Is you're just getting collapsed here as you start to rotate your shoulders forward. So you kind of have to pick if you're going to rotate your shoulders forward here, then you need to make sure that this is solid so that it doesn't just go whoop up against your body. All right, so, or you can move your arm past and just start moving the elbow forward immediately, and then you'll create that space. So you've got from here, you need to make sure that this space is greater than 90. Greater than 90 here, then your pick. Maintain the space here, right? Maintain by keeping this, dare I say, rigid to an extent, right? You have to maintain the space with this, basically. Or increase the space by moving your elbow through it, your elbow forward, right? So here, or here, and it basically stays. So it could be like this, more or less, and then you can increase it. But as for now, the thing that you can't do is just let this space go away. So you can actively maintain it, or you can actively increase it. If you could, I would actively increase it. Move the elbow forward. Here, that's more of those kind of like forming the whip drills. Make sure that your left arm's staying quiet, that it's not moving forward, because if the left arm moves forward, it's really going to want to pinch this if you move the left arm forward and try to keep this totally loose. So here, move the elbow forward first, right, move the disc past the body here. And then you've got the space created. Here, boom, creating space right away. Slipped. But that's what the practice looks like basically. Here. Elbow moving forward. More quiet with the shoulders. You know, there's a struggle as a coach. Sometimes you want to overcomplicate things so that it sounds better. It's like, oh, but really that's just it. Like, what more can I give this guy? But you don't need more. Bear bin 25. Not Baylor, but Bayer.
Bayer.
That heart looks like the Japanese flag, but it's a heart on a little postage, on a letter. Is there some, I feel like there's some J-pop band or some, oh, what's that genre called? It's like kawaii metal or something. What's that called, Dakota?
What?
What's that Japanese genre called where it's like female band like cutesy, but it's like metal? It's like cutesy metal or something similar.
Well, I'm just thinking the band Baby Metal is what I'm reminded.
Ah, baby metal.
That's like the band. I don't think they actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be a. Oh, everybody's saying it.
What is that?
Yeah, they're saying baby metal.
Baby Metal is the band for sure. They might as well be the genre because they are kind of defining that genre.
Ah. So the that could be cool though. You could take the like Japanese flag and instead of the sun, you put a heart in there. What is? Wait a second. This has been. He's a runner, he's a track star. Hey, Ben. It's been a while. Kawaii metal. Hey, look.
Why that's it? Yeah.
That's what I said first.
Oh yeah, that's
Because kawaii means cute.
yeah.
Kawaii.
Well,
Right. So it's like cutesy metal. I was all over it.
you are
Baby metal was the band inside the genre.
the genre, but that is it.
So two things, Ben. Japan flag is a drop of blood? No, it's not. It's the sun. It's a drop of blood. What is this, severance? Okay, so first off, not hand in front of the disc like this. Hand around towards, if this is like 9 o'clock, maybe towards like 8-ish. That's going to hopefully force you to get the disc moving inside of your elbow, right, and get you a better pocket here. So this move here. So hand towards back of disc, move forward. Drop a blood. Here. Through, hand on the back of the disc. Try to keep another way of saying this is keep your hand on the back of the disc for as long as the possible. I went full Japanese there. English was my second language for a second. So move the disc forward while keeping your hand towards that 8 o'clock position. Now you can't keep it the whole time, right? Once your hand starts rolling around the front, it's because you can't move it forward anymore because your elbow can't go forward anymore. Right, so hand on the back of the disc. As long as possible, start getting that whip, start forming the pocket there. Hand towards the back of the disc, forward as long as possible. Form the pocket. The pocket. Yeah, I don't really listen to like J-pop stuff or like cutesy vocal stuff. That much, I should say, unless it's I guess technically that song that Bump of Chicken did for that video game, where it has like that little anime chick and they like feature cutesy vocals on it. But Bump. And another one does, and another one does. Yeah. This is like a string of them. A string of collapsed pockets. So you need to move your arm more. You need to move your elbow forward more so you can have this space in the pocket here. Because this is just a tough position to work out of. Right, so instead of having here and going around, I'll stand up. So if you go here, you go around, you're going to get kind of trapped. But here, move the elbow forward as the shoulders are kind of coming around, right? Add more of this elbow forward move. Or another way of saying it is to move the disc across your chest a bit more. Right, might not get all the way here, but it needs to go further than where it's at right now on this like left shoulder, like on the outside of the left arm. You know, shoot for a little further, a little further, a little further. As you get going. So, you might not fix it all at once, but start moving that direction at least. You've got a decent setup. You just need to use the arm a bit more to get through this position. Yeah. Two Japanese bands I listen to most. Bump of Chicken, if I'm in like more of a, I want to listen to something kind of happier, or One OK Rock, especially some of their older stuff if I want to grind out a putting practice. If the putt's not going well, One OK Rock. Everything's going decent. It's Bump of Chicken. In the putting practice, you know, after my last lesson ends at 9 o'clock or whatever. Look at that internal rotation that he's able to get off of this left leg. He's like, swings that sucker around. Yeah, this might be problematic here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just tough because you're a little bit too backwards too early here. The disc has no choice if you coil like this, but to be like very behind you. So I think first fix the walk up situation. So you don't need to turn there on this left step. Let's just focus on what you should do instead of what you shouldn't do. Okay, I'm a lefty. I'm a lefty. Going this way. All right. So let's see. Right step here. Yeah, so this left step, you don't want to start turning it here, because then you're kind of spiraling into spinning form. So you're starting here with the right. Yeah, the right's probably roughly fine, especially since you have so much mobility here. Take this one, step it towards the target. You can stagger a little bit like this. So side view would be like here. Right, so you can see my right foot there. And then from this point, cross here, it can turn a little bit, but because we're not twisting on this step, we're also not all the way back here. So here, more side on here, more side on here. So try not to have your right hip swing all the way back like this. So here, here, and now we're more perpendicular from the target. It doesn't need to be all the way. It can go, even as far back as this for some people. Right now, I would suggest going closer to the perpendicular since you're turning so much. And then save your turning away from the target for here. And that's going to help you keep your disc further out, like this. Oh, I think we just did yours right before this, Nimina. I forgot to tell Mikey, I think. I'm not sure, but you were one of the last three, that's for certain. So here, here, cross, more perpendicular, and then turn. And so now your disc, instead of being here because of your shoulder turn, is going to be over here, which is going to make things much easier on the rest of the throw. You won't have to come around your body like that. So again, to recap, the footwork is, I'm going to start with the right step. Right foot, slight flare. Side on with the left now. Crossing, still basically side on. You can have the hips turn a little bit, but we're not going all the way back. And then, once you're on your right foot, now we turn the shoulders. So now my back's towards the target, my shoulders have turned away from the target, and that's going to leave the disc here instead of over here. So I would work on that. Have you still not read The Inner Game of Tennis? I've read it a couple times, actually.
So we read the question. Instead of reading the have you still not read?
Yeah, very aggressive way of writing that.
Yeah.
Have you still not read The Inner Game of Tennis? He must be talking about the moods of which I am putting. Yeah, until you've struggled with putting yips for 3 years at this point, then yeah, it's too easy to be like, oh, just be happy when you're putting all the time. It's like, anyways. All right.
Be happy when you're putting all the time, Josh.
Yeah, I mean the thing about Inner Game of Tennis, and it was helpful for me, and it is helpful for me. But sometimes missing 10-foot putts is Not the nicest feeling in the world. Despite you being like, I'm inside the process. Like, okay, the win here is the process. It's like, cool. Doink. You let PDGA membership expired like I said you would.
Guys, your number one stalker?
I didn't even know my PDGA membership expired.
You need to do that so you can help me with tournaments.
The reason I had an active PDGA membership was so that we could put on tournaments. And Dakota's been running the tournaments. So.
Actually, probably more important for Mike to make sure her kid's up to date.
Yeah. So since Dakota runs the tournaments, and since I teach on Saturdays, I haven't even looked at my PDGA membership. But feel free to get after it, dude. I mean, what's the PDGA? Why should I have my PDGA membership active if I teach every Saturday and I'm not running tournaments?
For stats.
So that Carney Shill on YouTube can update the world about my bad tournaments. That's why.
Maybe the Lord's work.
So that really does flavor the have you still not read the inner game of tennis comment.
Yeah.
Have you still not? Anyways.
Still not.
It's like when you sufficiently satisfy someone's question, they have to go somewhere else to tag you. Like, oh, you read Inner Game of Tennis? Well, I can't use that bullet anymore. Aha, your PDGA membership expired. Gotcha. Because you don't want people looking at your PDGA. I don't give a rip, dude. It's because I teach every Saturday and I'm not running tournaments. Didn't even know it expired. But, hey, maybe I don't need to spend that $55 or whatever it is. So, what else you got? I'm ready.
I'm inspired too because I'm ashamed of being your student and showing my rating to everyone. Mike, can I need yours active, please? Don't leave me alone.
This is what's more important to me. He probably won't mind me sharing it. Can you turn off my screen for a second so I can make sure? Okay. This is a message I got yesterday. Okay, now you can show it.
Okay.
This guy took a lesson with me. I don't take all the credit for this, but this is what's more important. That this student played 55 points above his rating. I'm probably not going to throw 1012 rated. But what I care about is this. And it didn't have to be this. It could have been, this is just the one that came up yesterday. Right? And it's not because it's 1012. It's like the most impressive thing is that he played 55 points above his rating. Right? If that was a 700 player and they played 755 that day, that's a huge improvement. Right? Or 720 or 710. Right? It's more important that I can help people do that than my personal membership being active. I just don't know what you're getting after here, dude. So, but of course, Carney, you're not going to respond to this. What do you have to say for this? And they never do. They never respond to the actual facts. They'll never say, wow, that was good. They just go after something else.
Oh, yep.
So, it's tough to put yourself out there. It's very easy to shoot other people down. So you got the easy job, Carney. Go tell the masses my PDGA membership expired. Tag me on the post when you do. I'll respond. You coach putting also? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Time for some Chipotle and disc golf. I'm going to go play a sub 1,000 rated round of disc golf today. Maybe even sub 900, Carney, just for you, brother. You're welcome to join.
If you do well, you 200 rated. That's true. Who cares about 900 when you get 200?
Right. I'm done with PDGA ratings. It's all about the UDIS rating.
That's right.
My goal is to keep my rated rounds above 200.
Whoa, hands, Colin?
Ugh. What's one guide?
Yep.
You're going to have to explain that to me. Absolutely one guide.
It sounds like something I can use.
Yeah, right. It sounds intriguing, whatever it is.
Yeah, one guy. How best to explain that?
Absolutely one guide. Is that like a solo duo?
I don't know. The context of
Oh, I see. He's the one guy on his side of the argument right now. And everybody else is...
yeah.
I gotcha.
It's like, yeah, it's the one person that just keeps doing stuff for attention and get the attention, essentially.
I gotcha. Is it similar to like main character vibes? All right, guys. If you don't have any legitimate or illegitimate questions / accusations, I'll be off. But I don't run away from a fight, boys. I should more often, if we're being honest. Which we are.
What this guy needs to I'll find him. I'll find him. I'll just 50 points above his rating.
Post my round results. Form reviews only for patrons. Hey man, what's the best way to buy your merch / discs? We have a website, overthrowdiscgolf.store. .store. I think, is it linked in the description of this, Mikey?
Yeah.
It's linked in the description. You don't even have to type that in. You don't even have to forget that it's not .com, but it's .store. You just click. Are mids overrated? No. Depends on who you are, I guess. Depends on the separation between your mids and your putters.
Mids are still not overrated. It's mid. Mids are not mid. Mid is no mid. Mids are bad. Couldn't be mid.
Yeah, I guess you just find like the use for mids later. Because I think people naturally learn like, oh, okay, putter, which is like all touch utility, just like straightness, and then driver, it's like distance utility, and then you're like, oh, actually I can get a fairway there, and so then you learn to, I feel like people go to the fairway utility more than bumping up from a putter to a mid, and being like, oh, okay, I actually want to throw a mid here instead of a putter because the mid doesn't need as much height to work, and I'll push a little bit further, right? it's usually more common, I think, for people to go, okay, here's my driver utility. Oh, I can throw a putter here because it's just a touch shot. And then like, oh, actually I can throw a fairway driver here because it doesn't use as much left to right movement. And then you go from there, kind of like this realization of like, fairway drivers are amazing. And then you go, whoa, mid-ranges are amazing. Yes, Patreon and Discord go together. It's how I keep my email from being my sorting thing. I hate email. I hate it. If you email me something, just assume it's buried. Instagram or Discord. That's what's in my workflow right now. Can we expect Mikey to go rogue more often, and does that make it less rogue? Mikey has the right to go rogue whenever he wants. But yeah, you should give him feedback on that. The interesting thing to me was like, it was a lot of practice for the singular point, which I think a lot of people liked. So I was interested to see how that would be. Because usually we cram a lot into the videos, or it's just like a short video. Where did Carney go?
He did, bro.
Come on, man. You can't back down like that.
He's going to renew your membership for you.
He's going to gift me a PDGA membership so he can keep track of it. Hey, if you gift it to me, I will buy it. If you send me money for that, I will renew my membership. I haven't trolled for 3 months. You haven't trolled me for 3 months. Welcome back. So. All right, guys. Well, it's almost perfect. It's almost perfect disc golf time in terms of weather. Let me see here. I should probably take this guy's picture off the screen. Put up a random person. There's someone random. I forgot you were a troll until your second comment. I forgot you used to troll me. You know, if you want to be a good troll, you got to make sure that the YouTuber remembers you. You left for too long. All right, guys. Well, it looks like we're slowing down. I don't imagine I'll be doing a bunch of YouTube live streams, so this is basically the shot that you got. You were in Phoenix playing all winter. Don't give me that much info. I will track you down. I enjoy that kind of stuff. Keeping tabs on who my actual peeps are. That way when they bust out something, I like to just slide in a little personal info there, just to let them know. Should I buy a tech disc? I'm really considering it. Totally depends. Depends on what you're looking to do. So for us, it's been invaluable. It's definitely sped up my personal growth. But yeah. Now that you're bombing, you should record some rounds for the YouTube channel. that's probably not going to happen. I don't want my distance to be a credibility thing. Right? I've always wanted it to be about the info. Not that someone who can't throw far, or sorry, not that throwing far doesn't have any benefit to credibility, but it's just overvalued. It's overrated, I think. So if I throw 600 feet, you guys aren't going to know about it. I can't have my cake and eat it too. Like, oh, it's not that important. Oh, I'm bombing. Listen to me. So the only reason I said that was because I let that become part of my... I let, like, the thing that personally helped me influence the coaching too much. Right, so the criticism of here's what pros feel like they're doing, but they're not really doing. Well, I did the same thing. Like, I did the thing that it's like, you shouldn't do this as a coach, and then I did it. It's like, wow. So plus my putting is still the issue with my personal rounds. So if I just lay up every putt outside of 20 feet, I'm probably consistently 900. And Dakota or Mikey are more than willing to call cap on that. If I lay up every putt outside of 20 feet, I'm probably 900 rated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the ace video was super fun. I wouldn't do it with zones again, but stuff like that is fun.
Well, fun fact, the finger one.
Yeah, I saw that, and they did exactly what I said they were going to do. Well, they announced, they're like, oh, to keep from having any confusion, we're going to approve the banger first, and then we're going to approve the ringer.
Yeah.
It's like the whole thing's just at the end of it, you can see it from a mile away. They're going to approve both, and they're just trying to...
And how well does this work for us?
Right. But the retailers are the one that take the hit. But it's like, there was no way they were never going to approve both. Hitting a 30-foot circle and making 20-foot putts is most important. Footwork in distance is overrated. Depends. The people, like putting, obviously, super important. But there are comments that I see online where it's like, where like all you need is, 300 or whatever. It's like that person for sure doesn't throw 450. Because every time you go up like another 50 feet, so if you throw, let's say 300, right, and then you add another 50 feet to that, when you throw 350, now that those 300-foot holes become hyzers with overstable plastic, which changes the game super significantly. It's like the most important stat is circle one in regulation. And if it's a 350-foot hole and you only throw 300 feet, you're never getting circle one in reg, which means you never have a birdie putt. So you can't really say like putting's more important or distance is more important. It's like at some point you got to throw far enough to get into the circle to make use of a birdie putt. So And so everybody who's gone from 300 to 350, that's a different game. And then when you go from 350 to 400, that's a totally different game. When you go 400 to 450, totally different game. And I imagine when you go from 450 to 500, totally different game. 500 to 550, totally different game. I wouldn't know, but it feels like that would be a totally different game. Just the pattern seems to go every 50 feet, changes the game super significantly. And then you got like AB at the top of the game, taking this line that only he's trying, which is a big giant hyzer over all these trees a million miles away. And Cole looks at him and goes, wait, it's just like, what is that? It's a totally different game. So people who are like, oh, you don't need to throw 400 or you don't need you just need 300 foot worth of distance and a good putt. It's like, for what level? You don't need a fast serve, you just need a well-placed serve. It's like, what? Gotta have both. Okay. How much of an impact do you think nose angle makes on distance? How much further can someone throwing 400 foot nose up add if nose angle is corrected? So, Chris Taylor, these are his numbers, not my numbers. I believe them because he's smarter than me. But he says for every degree of nose angle, it's 10 foot. Right, so if you're throwing 4 degrees nose up, and you can take that to 0, just flat, not even nose down, that's an extra 40 feet. So, pretty significant, I would say, for a lot of people. Is optimal -4? It's super dependent, right? If you throw with a 0 degree launch and you throw 4 degrees nose down, you're going to turf it. Right, so we're kind of assuming with a launch of like 10 degrees or something, right? But totally dependent. But you want to be able to throw nose down. If you throw a lower line, it doesn't have to be as nose down. If you throw a higher line, you're going to need it more. So. If it's like 12 launch and -4 down, that's probably decent. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Somebody else is saying that some combo of like 6 to 8 degree, or 6 to 8, if you combine the two, is optimal. I don't know. Cole is a local kid. So Carney Schill is Spikeheiserberg.
He's not.
He's got to be. 2 accounts. 350 to 400 is his golf game for Cole. No shot, dude. It's got to be further than that.
Just like a Northwest conglomerate that doesn't like you.
Yeah.
Interesting people. That's what I'm going to about.
Let me see. Okay, I asked Cole. And do you have any stats on distances / speed for drives? Just rough estimate on either would be great contextually. He says around 70 for backhand, 550 to 620 pretty consistently if I go big distance. Someone who has 70 on backhand is not playing 350 to 400 golf. Wasn't he just in the distance comp as well, Mikey?
Oh,
Yeah.
100,
What's he throwing there?
like 650. Yeah, I think 650.
Yeah. 650 is what Mikey's saying was the distance comp, and Cole says 550 to 620 pretty consistently if I go big distance. So someone like that is, he's not just playing like 350 to 400 golf. It's not like that much of a disparity. Our next video coming up is actually looking at a piece of Cole's form here, this back foot. Basically, he sent me all this a while back, and every time I show this, I want to give the caveat that he gave, that his form is changing. Right, so he's like, his form could be different here, but like there were a couple people that I was like, hey, your foot's too far backwards, right? And we talk about why with Cole that's not a problem, basically. So that's the video coming out this upcoming Monday. Yeah. I need to get some world-class pros on my speed dial. I don't think I have Cole on speed dial. It's just Instagram message. He just responded and he was real nice about everything. Good kid. Just very nice about it all. So, is nose angle relative to launch angle or the ground? It's relative to launch angle. All right. You already put in the Chipotle order, Mikey?
No. No, I have to get both y'all. We should just go in.
Okay.
That's probably the easiest at this point if we're trying to get Chipotle fast.
Hey, I just saw something that says, guys, this legit changed my life. And it's someone on posted up your recent video, Mikey.
That's not surprised because that tip is super helpful.
Comments. This tip clicked for me as well.
I mean, it's not everyone that I've told to in person, which is not that many, but like 5 people. It's 5 for 5.
Shh. Bunky. I'm covert. I'm covert.
All right, guys.
All right, we're leaving. We're gonna go play some disc golf and Carney, go ahead and message me on Instagram, and I'll shoot you my scorecard when I'm done. That way you can post it wherever you want. Just streamline the process. Or you could just meet us there. Sandusky, probably. But message me and I'll let you know. All right, guys. Peace.